Yo, what's up? Happy Friday. This is No Tracers. Welcome to the show. Let's get into it. Welcome to No Tracers, the podcast where I take you on an adventure through the hidden gems and forgotten corners of the world. From abandoned buildings and tunnels to rooftop views and street art, join me as we uncover the secrets of the urban landscape. With interviews from experienced explorers, tips and tricks for navigating the urban terrain, and thrilling first-hand accounts of their explorations. Get ready to discover the world like never before. Come explore with us. But remember, leave no trace. How's it going, guys? Hope you are gearing up for another weekend of exploration. We're starting to get into the fall, so that means the weather's going to get a little nicer and we're not all going to swelter to death, which is awesome. So I hope you guys are getting ready to go explore something. If you are and you need something to listen to on your commute to the Bando, hopefully this podcast is the one you're going to check out. Obviously, if you're listening to this, this is the one you chose. So, or maybe you're editing your photos from a recent exploration and you needed something to listen to. This is the podcast all about urban exploring. And I'm your host, Kay, just the letter K. I'm known as No Tracers. You can find me on all social media at No Tracers. NoTracers.com/shop is where you can find my 2 photography books about urban exploring, as well as some merchandise, t-shirts, beanies, duffel bags, all kinds of cool stuff. So thank you guys for checking out No Tracers, the podcast. This week on the show, I'm speaking with an urban explorer that goes by the name Xtralate, because he's always late for everything, except for this podcast. He was actually early, which is awesome. We had to reschedule a couple times because my laptop cable stopped working, so my computer wouldn't charge. So I had to jerry-rig a charger, and it somehow worked. So that's awesome. Annoying, but awesome. So just a little short intro monologue thing. I was just in St. Louis last weekend for an event called Paint Louis. It's an annual graffiti meetup where a bunch of graffiti artists from all over the country, all over the world, meet up and spray paint the flood wall. So I got invited. It's like it's an open thing, like anybody can go. But Josh Metzger Photography told me about it when I was in St. Louis the last time shooting a sports documentary. He was like, "Yo, you should come back for Paint Louis. We can hang out. We can meet up. We can, explore, do whatever." And so I was like, "Damn, I should go film a documentary about Paint Louis because I've never been. I haven't shot anything for myself in a long time." Because I do so much video and photo and just like content work for other people that I often forget to make shit for myself. So I was like, I'm going to go to Paint Louis. I'm going to make a documentary about some of the artists there and kind of capture the event. So that's what I did. And huge shout out to Bentley Shots for letting me crash at his pad. Thank you, Bentley, for letting me stay over and for taking me exploring. We hit some spots in St. Louis with Lucy Lou. And as you guys saw last week on the podcast, I actually did my first in-person interview with Lucy. So if you want to check that one out, go back to the previous week and you can watch that episode. It is a video podcast, so you can actually see that on Spotify or on the No Tracers or Urbex YouTube channel. So if you want to get a look inside the first in-person episode, definitely do that. That was how I wanted No Tracers to be all along. I would love to do more of that next year, if given the opportunity. So if you want to be on an in-person episode of No Tracers, hit me up at no.tracers on Instagram. And so we went exploring with Bentley Shots, Lucy Lou, and Chase the Human. It was absolutely incredible. We had a great time exploring and checking out some newer spots, some fresh spots in St. Louis. So that was super cool. Filmed the documentary. It's called Spray and Tell. It is up on No Tracers or Urbex YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's pretty sick. Thank you guys for checking that out. It's been really cool getting the feedback. I actually had a train operator comment on the video saying like, cool documentary, but like maybe don't spray paint the trains because it's dangerous and whatever. It's whatever. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what I've been up to with the urban exploring and kind of content creation stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you are new to the show, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the show, please leave a rating and feedback so other people that are looking for a show to listen to find this one, read your feedback, and give it a chance. Thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. So let's get into this episode with Xtralate. Thank you for joining the podcast. Please introduce yourself and how long you've been exploring to the No Tracers audience.
My name is Xtralate, and I've been exploring since late 2021. Um, so about maybe 2 years now.
So, what got you into exploring in the first place? What made you kind of discover urban exploring and abandonment?
Honestly, it was YouTube and my friend Gordon. He really got me into it. Like he took me on my first explore and everything.
So, what was that first exploration you guys did? Where'd you go? What did you experience, and what made you want to dive deeper into it?
Uh, I believe our first explorer it was in Troy, New York. I don't know if you've ever been there. There's a couple of churches there.
So I actually haven't done any exploring in New York yet. I'm dying to. I know that there's so much stuff up there. But being in Nashville and I travel a lot for freelance jobs because I'm a full time videographer and photographer. So I'm usually when I'm traveling somewhere, it's for work. So it's hard to make the time to also explore, you know?
Mm-hmm. Trying to think. There was one. It's called Born of Thunder. Um, somebody tagged that in the back, and it's a
Oh, cool.
clap. It's a pretty clapped out church, but it was sick to see. Um, we had to crawl in through the floor, so it was a pretty crazy first explore.
That's amazing. So, speaking of weird entrances and getting into buildings, what has been your craziest entrance or exit?
um, I gotta think honestly. Hold on.
No problem.
Probably. Um, this is probably another one you don't know. It's a half active mental hospital in Connecticut. There's a theater there. So I had to go in through the basement window, and somebody left. It was at the time. Okay. So I have a story for this story.
All right.
So at that time, my hand, I busted up my thumb pretty bad on a different church. So basically, I only had one hand because the other one was wrapped up in bandages.
Okay.
So I was like halfway holding on to the basement window with one hand, and I like slipped in, and there was like a 55-gallon drum, and I landed on that. That slipped from under my feet. I busted my ass, and I got up, and I shot the place in like 5 minutes. I was just running and gunning.
Dude, it's so funny. The more I do this, the more weird the entrances get. And
Yeah.
oftentimes we find out afterwards that a door was open. Like, for example, I was just in
Nah,
St.
we
Louis.
already.
Dude, I tell you what, I was just in St. Louis and we went to this massive school, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying to find a way in. We're like, oh, none of the doors are ever open, whatever. So there's like a stack of tires, like 12 tires to up to a window. We were like, we're just going to climb in that window. That's clearly what people have been doing. So
Yeah.
we go in, explore the school, whatever. And we're walking out, leaving. And my homie's like, yo, that door is open. And he walks up and sure enough just pulls the shit right
Bro,
open.
I
I'm
would have
like,
been so mad.
bro, I was pissed. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like, what?" Oh my god. But yeah, I think those creative entrances kind of make the stories come alive a little bit more. So
Yeah,
I love it.
and getting out was even harder because the window, so it's like a 5 foot like a 10 foot drop.
Yeah.
So I had to put the drum back up, and I had to stand on the drum and use one hand to like barely pull myself out. But thankfully, my buddy Bolt Cutted, he was there to help me pull me out. So that was probably the worst entrance I've ever had to do on a bando.
That's incredible. So you've been doing this for a couple years now. What makes you keep going back to abandoned places? Like what kind of drives you to do this? Like what is it about the hobby? I call it a sport because I think we kind of do some crazy shit to get in and out of these places. Um, but what
Yeah.
makes you keep going and keep doing this?
Um. Honestly, I'm just like taking the pictures, honestly, and like seeing all the crazy architecture that people leave behind. It's really insane how, if you think about it, these buildings are probably worth that like hundreds and thousands of dollars worth
Yeah.
of architecture just sitting there rotting, you know?
Yeah. It is wild, you know. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm gonna say it. I just got featured on Ghost Adventures. They saw a video of mine on YouTube that kind of went viral a couple of years ago, and they reached out to me and they were like, "We're gonna go into this specific building that I had explored," and they were like, "We would love to have you like make an appearance on the show and kind of share your experience." So I got to do that, but it's like those kind of experiences and getting the messages and the emails from people that are like, you know, especially with like hospitals and stuff, like I used to be a patient there or like I used to work there, like that kind of shit to me is like
Yeah.
crazy. Like, do you ever experience that? Do you have people like slide into
Um,
your DMs like I used to go there or whatever?
yeah, well, I hit this morgue in my city, and I used to have a job at Big Y, and when I was working at Big Y, was showing my pictures to one of my coworkers who worked there. He was like, "There's no way." He was like, "I used to work at that hospital when the morgue was active."
Dang, dude. Yeah, that's crazy. It's cool to get the like perspective of people that
Yeah,
were there when it
he's
was active.
he said he would do the same thing. He would go in there while he was working and like take pictures because
While
it
it was active?
no, while it wasn't abandoned for too long. The
Oh, okay.
hospital's still half active, so
Got it, got it. I see, I see.
yeah.
Um, do you have, like, a certain type of building that you prefer exploring? I see that you've
Definitely
got a lot of
churches.
churches. Yeah, I
Yeah,
figured, I figured.
I love churches. I've probably done every local church uh, and some. You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple local ones that I gotta do again or go to.
So, speaking of, like, doing spots again, like, do you often go back and hit a place multiple times, or do you
It
mostly, like, one
really
and
depends.
done?
It really depends. Like if my shots, I feel like if they're shitty, then yeah, I'll go back and reshoot
Sure.
it. But sometimes I don't like to go to a spot multiple times just because I feel like I already tested my luck once. Why do it again?
Yeah, I feel that 100%. You know, I've tried to do a couple spots multiple times. Some of them that are like super easy to access, of course, I'm gonna, you know, go
Yeah.
hit them again. But like the ones where there's like cops outside or like, you know,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, that hospital that I just told you about. I have never gone back to that.
Yeah, yeah, like and that brings me to this question. So, I started doing something on the podcast where at the end I ask my guests to ask the next guest a question. So I've got like a list compiled of like previous guests that have questions. So, um Zach Visual's question was about risk management. So like where do you draw the line on risk when you're exploring? Like what is the line where you're like I'm not going to do this?
Honestly, I really don't care. Like, as bad as that sounds, like
No.
I'll do most shit. Like 9 out of 10 times, I'll do it. Like even if it's fucking risky as fuck. Like
Okay.
the active hospital thing, sent that like I've sent that like 3 times, and I've almost got caught by security multiple times there.
Oh my god, amazing.
So most of
So
the time, I'm down for a sketchy spot.
okay, good, good. I like that. I like that you're willing to go all out for a spot. I think it's great, and you know, oftentimes those are very rewarding spots. You know, the ones that you like
Yeah,
really aren't supposed to be in. You know, once you get in, you feel that like
like
sense of like accomplishment.
me and my buddy, we there was a church, a local one that the workers they were working on it, right? So we walked up to it, and we are like, "Hey, we're photographers. Can we just snap a couple pics?" And they were like, "Oh, fuck off! No, leave it. Like leave." And we're like, "Okay." So I was like, "All right, let's wait for them to leave." So
Yeah.
like we left, came back at like 7 o'clock. They were packing up, and as soon as I seen them leave the parking lot, I went right in.
Oh man. So speaking of like, you know, you kind of went up to them and asked like if you could go in. Have you actually ever gotten permission to explore a spot?
Uh, yes, I've got permission for like one spot, and it was a spot in Holyoke. It's a theater that my buddy knows the owner to, so he
Nice.
he has the keys to it, and I can go literally whenever I would like.
That's amazing. I love those kind of situations where you have
Yeah,
like a hookup inside,
it's
that
a
owns it
it's
or
a
whatever.
it's a good theater too to just chill at and take snaps and pics. Yeah.
That's sick. I love that. For me, I think theaters are really just super cool. Like old movie theaters, I love because I love going to the movies anyway. So I like
Yeah.
seeing old movie theaters. I went to one that shut down in like 2008, um, and it still had the movie posters from like 2008 in the
Really.
lobby. Dude, it was wild. It was like
That's
it
sick.
was crazy, man. Like just seeing those and you're walking past them and you're like, "Damn, this place has been like untouched, like no graffiti, nothing, like
Hmm.
completely clean." And it was one of those situations where my buddy was like, "We're getting into the spot," and like we he picked the lock and we go in and he put the chain around the inside and locked us in like from
Yeah.
the inside so nobody could go in after us. It was actually kind of brilliant that he did that. It's like I never
Yeah.
thought of doing something like that, like lock yourself in because you have the way out.
Yeah. Some people lock their own spots. I've heard.
That is also true. That is also true. We
So
dude, go ahead.
G- going back on the movie theater thing, I just did a movie theater like maybe 2 months ago that closed in 2020, like pre-COVID, like
Okay.
during COVID.
Yeah.
That one was pretty sketchy. It was the parking lot was completely empty, and like cops would always sit back there, and there was a blown out window, so I just hopped through it and just sent it, and when I was about to leave, a cop pulled up and was sitting in the parking lot, and I was just like, "Well, I'm fucked."
Yeah.
Thankfully, I sneaked out a side door, and he didn't see me.
So that brings me to this question. What's the longest you've waited to leave a building?
Knock on wood, I haven't had that many run-ins with the police, honestly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I feel I am in the same boat. I've only had one incident where we had to like try to find another way out because a cop
Yeah.
pulled up
Yep.
next to the building and like tried to hide his car. Like, we can see you, dude, and
Yeah. I've
he
only
just
had.
camped there, but
I hit a freshie a couple months ago, church, and the fucking owner was in the basement cleaning it out, and he chased me out. So
That's amazing.
that's
Wow.
about that's about the close. Like I've set off alarms too and stuff. So
Sure.
that's about the closest I really got. I've only had the cops pull up on me once, and I got arrested because
So,
they.
I was gonna say, can you share that story?
Yeah. So it's it's so stupid. I think everybody knows. Like nobody knew it was me until I started talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, so you're the kid who got arrested at that church." So it was like 2 a.m. I was like drunk as shit with my friends.
Okay.
And we were just like, yo, let's just go hit this Bando church. My friend just gave it to me. He did it the other day. He said he had no problems. So I was like, fuck it. Let's go at like 2 in the morning, like an idiot. So we did. And we went in there. I started snapping some pics. At the time, I only had a phone. This was like 2020, maybe, I believe. Um, So yeah, we were just chilling in there snapping pics, and we went up to the top part, like where the choir would be,
Yeah.
and we hear like radio chatter, and we're like, "Oh fuck!" So I was like, "Wait a minute, maybe that's just other people," like, because kind of sounded like the beeps from a camera, like when you autofocus
Oh,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I peeped down, and I was like, maybe they're just other explorers. And then they were like, if anybody's in here,
Oh,
come
fuck.
down now. And we were like, fuck. So we like hid there. And then they brought the dogs in there.
Oh,
And I was like,
fuck.
there was
Shit.
like 6 squad cars out there.
Bruh,
And we were just,
why? That's so much.
yeah. And I guess it was because people were saying that we were breaking stuff in there, but
Jesus.
we weren't breaking nothing. And so I went down, and I was trying to sneak out a side door, and they fucking shine the light on me, and they're like, we're gonna release our dogs on you if you don't get on the ground. So I had no other choice.
Yeah,
So
you can't win against those teeth. There's
yeah,
no way.
right. Nor am I gonna try to outrun them.
Nah.
So they threw us on the floor, cuffed us,
Damn.
brought us down to the police station, and I sat in the cell from 2 in the morning till about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
And then I had court, and that was probably the worst experience I had because I had handcuffs on for that whole time.
Damn, dude, that sucks. So
Yeah.
what did they like? Did they charge you? Did they let you go?
I had
Like, what was the deal?
trespassing on my
Okay.
but it dropped like it was only for I was banned from Boston for 3 months.
That's so weird to me, the whole,
So,
like, banning from like, what does
yes,
that even mean? Like,
they
you
were like,
can't
"Oh, if we see you come here, you're going to get arrested." So I
at
was like,
all, like, in any capacity.
"Yes."
Fuck.
So I was just like, "Okay, I'll stay out of Boston for 3 months." And then literally the day after I come home from getting arrested, my buddy's like, "Yo, you want to hit this school?" And I'm just like, "Oh my god, dude."
Oh my god. Did you do it? Did you go to the
Yeah, I
school?
did it. I was so sketched out the whole time. A car pulled in the parking lot, and I almost fucking, I was like, all right, I'm leaving. Like, you guys can stay. I'm good.
Dude, oh my god. Like, okay, so that makes me ask this question. Has anything ever made you want to stop exploring or take a break? Anything?
That definitely did. Like getting arrested,
Okay.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna chill out on this.
Yeah.
And then my buddy's like, yo, there's an abandoned mansion in a school. I was like, come on, bro. Like, I just got arrested the other day, and you're gonna fucking do that to me.
Oh my god. That's incredible. What a story, dude.
So
So,
I almost quit exploring that time.
gotcha. But I mean, something drew you back in, obviously, the
Yeah.
the love of it, the adrenaline rush, whatever it is for you that keeps you going back and doing this. And I know you've only been doing this for a couple years now, but how many pins would you say are on your map?
I can check right now, actually.
Sweet.
Uh, right now I have 475.
My guy, let's go. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about like social media and stuff and like
Yep,
that whole aspect of urbex because I'm
yep.
curious on your opinions about a couple things. So, there are some people that sell their maps. What are your thoughts on that?
Are you you're for real?
Not even
That's
fucking kidding,
hilarious.
dude.
I wish
Yeah,
I
they
knew that.
they
I wish I
sell
knew
their
that.
shit, dude. They sell their fucking maps, bro.
I'm about, yo, hit me up for pins, $5 a pin.
400 times 5, dude, you be making some bank.
Yeah, right.
But
I
yeah,
think
no,
that's
it's a thing.
stupid as
It's
fuck.
dumb
Like,
as
bro,
fuck. Like, dude, that
people
takes
are
all
that
the way.
down bad that they have to
Dog,
buy
I'm
fucking
telling
urbex
you. I'm
maps. I've never
fucking
ever
dude.
spent money on a pin in my life,
No,
and I
no,
never will.
no. That's so crazy to me, but it's such a thing. People fucking do it. I swear to you.
Yep. If
So
anybody needs pins, you know where to come.
so my next question about social media is like, has it allowed you to like link up with other people, like
Oh
other
yeah,
explorers?
definitely. I've met. That's how I met Bolt Cutted. I met
Okay.
him off Instagram, and now we're
Sick.
like basically best friends. We're homies. I met a lot of my homies off Instagram. I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
lie to you.
Yeah, dude.
Um, Going
It's
back on
crazy.
your story of quitting urbex, I wish I could send you pictures, but I absolutely destroyed my thumb doing this church the one time. I could tell you the story on that one.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. One of my questions is actually about urban exploring injury stories. So yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
But yeah, going back to the Instagram thing, yeah, I've met a lot of friends off Instagram.
Yeah, I think
A
it's a
lot of,
great platform, but it also there's a lot of like drama and
yep,
there's pros and cons, so
so much drama in the urbex community.
it's
It's
crazy.
hilarious,
It's crazy. For why? For why?
right? We're all doing the same thing. We're all
Straight
fucking
up.
hitting abandoned buildings and taking pictures.
Yep.
It's not the end of the world if somebody gets your pen. Relax.
Yeah, yep. There's plenty more buildings out there. You
Yeah,
just gotta
right?
go
You're
find
acting
them.
like, oh, somebody has my pen now, blah, blah, blah. Dude, okay, go on to the fucking next building and don't share that one.
Facts. Also, you don't own the fucking building.
Yeah, right? That's my main thing is like, people complain so fucking much. Like, bro, it's not even your building. If anybody should care, it's the fucking owner. Stop fucking
Facts.
crying.
Facts, dude. Okay, so let me hear this injury story about your thumb.
All right, so um, it was me and Bolt Cutted, and we were meeting really not Chase at
Okay.
this church, right? And he was with his girl and everything, and it was absolutely pouring rain. So I was like, all right, let me, because usually the way in would be hopping through the window, but so when I was going to hop through the window, I grabbed some of the stained glass, and it slipped. It like broke, right?
Oh.
And it just cut
Oh.
my thumb completely open,
Oh.
and I went straight to the hospital, but
Bro.
I they got in. So Chase and his girl and his friend, they got in, and I called the ambulance, and me and Bull Cutted went to the hospital, and I had to get stitches and shit.
So when people get injured doing urban exploring, I always ask them, when you go to the hospital, what do you
Oh, I
say?
lied out my
Okay,
ass.
okay, okay, okay. What'd you tell them?
I said that my car, that I was trying to fix my bumper and my hand slipped.
For sure, my guy. And they're looking at your thumb, they're like, "Mhm, okay."
Yeah, right. They see the
Uh,
abandoned church, and they're just like, yeah, the bumper on the car.
Wait, they picked you up from the church?
It was like a street over from the
Oh,
church. It was
okay,
like,
okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
That's hilarious. Oh my god. Dude. I mean, at that point, I probably would've driven myself to the hospital, but I mean, because you
my
gotta
hand
wait
was
till they
absolutely
just
toasted.
fucked?
Yeah, it was
Toasted.
gushing blood. I had to wrap it up. I couldn't really.
I understand. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's fucking crazy. Damn, dude. And you had to
So,
pay for that ambulance ride, I'm sure.
uh, insurance paid for it.
Okay, good, good. See, not a lot of people have insurance, but,
Yep.
especially in the urbex world, I feel. But I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
you
have.
did. I'm glad you were sorted. Um, so side tangent, what do you do when you're not exploring abandoned places?
Um, I work with my dad on cars
All right.
and lawnmowers and anything with an engine, basically.
Very cool. Um, do you prefer exploring alone or with people?
Depends, honestly. I've been soloing a lot of shit recently, and it's not that bad. Like, it was my first ever solo explore was so fucking sketchy, and I was just like scared the whole time.
Mm.
But it's not that bad. You realize you're like, oh well, one less person I have to worry about. You know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think my first solo explore was in the middle. It was on Christmas. It was in Indiana, and it was to an old asylum powerhouse,
Yep.
where like they ran all the power for the whole community around that area. But there was like ice on the floor because obviously there's holes in the ceiling, so there's like ice on the floor, and so I was like afraid I was gonna slip and fucking break my back, and just
Yeah.
be stuck in this bando by myself, so the whole time I'm freaking out, but
Yeah.
obviously everything was fine. But yeah, I think I love doing things by myself, but at the same time, like just having one other person there just kind of
Yeah.
brings me
Like
like
for
peace of
lookout and
mind.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so do you have any good luck charms? This is a question from Exploring with Nomad. Like, do you bring anything with you specific into a building? It can be like, I don't know, your camera could be a good luck charm or, some
Nope.
anything like that. Nothing like that.
Not really. I just bring my
Okay.
camera and my tripod into
Got you.
buildings, and that's it.
Got you. Um, so how long, knowing what you know about urban exploring, the ability to like hide in places, the ability to get in and out of places stealthily, how long do you think you would survive in the zombie apocalypse?
Uh, I've watched a shit ton of The Walking Dead, so probably I'd probably be pretty good in the zombie apocalypse, honestly.
Do you think you would hold up in a church, a prison? No, like from like The Walking Dead,
Definitely,
like where would you
like
post up?
definitely a prison,
Yeah.
or like maybe like an old police station if there was guns left there. But
Ooh,
I feel
good
like a
idea.
prison would be just because that's how The Walking Dead did it, and it was like they
Yeah.
had a really good tactic. So,
Yeah. That season was incredible.
yep,
That's
that
probably
was
where I
like
stopped watching
that
the
was
show
like
after that
peak
season.
Walking Dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. What is the furthest you've traveled to go explore?
Jeez, Catskills, New York. I think that's the farthest I've ever been.
Dude, I'm going to be up there in October for some music videos.
There's a lot of good resorts
I
there.
know. There's resorts. There's the theme park. There's like,
Yep.
Dude, I hope that I have time, but I'm out there to shoot a music video. But I hope that I have time to fucking hit some spots because I hear great things about the Catskills. I also hear crazy stories about that area. So
I haven't had
very
anything
curious.
crazy happen. I ran into like homeless people at the
Yeah, that's
Novelli or the
understandable.
Novelle, however you say it.
Yeah.
But they never bothered me. So
Yeah. I think the most I've interacted with homeless people was in a building and they asked us if we needed a room for the night. We were like, "No, we're set, but thanks," you know. So they're pretty okay as long as you leave them alone for the most part. But if you could live in one abandoned building you've explored for an entire week, which place would it be?
uh probably just an abandoned church because I've hit so many of those.
Sure.
I really don't hit a lot of things. Like I mainly just do churches. I've done a couple hospitals, done like one power plant.
Mhm.
Houses I really don't like because they're sketchy to me. I
Dude,
don't know.
I don't fuck with them.
I feel like I'm breaking into somebody's shit, and I'm just like,
Facts.
yo. One time I hit a house with my buddy, and we were walking up the stairs, and we were just like, yo, what if we walk into somebody's like they're having dinner, and I'm just like, I'm just like, all right, I'm leaving. Fuck this.
Yeah, dude. I don't do houses unless it's an abandoned mansion that I'm for sure is abandoned because
Yep.
you don't know, man. It like
Yeah.
I've been in
You
fucking
don't.
rural Alabama and the shit is falling in and there are people living there, you know? Like
Yeah.
you just don't
It's
fucking know.
yeah. I was in some fucking rural town like months ago with my buddy, and we saw this house. We're like, yeah, that has to be abandoned. We roll up to it, and the owner comes out. He's like, "What are you guys doing on my property?" And we're just like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, we don't fuck with I don't fuck with houses,
I
man.
ain't
They
trying to get
freak me
shot over an
out.
abandoned
Nah,
house.
dog, that's not worth it. It's not
Nope.
worth it,
Not
bro.
in my book. It's not worth it. Maybe for other
No.
people who love houses, but
Nah, fam.
not for me.
We did an abandoned hoarder's house in California, and it was wild. There was so much shit everywhere, and I was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
what if somebody's just comes home to this?" You know,
Yeah. Right. Like, what if somebody comes home and they have a shotgun or a gun or
yeah,
something? Like,
yeah.
I'm
It's
not
just
getting
not worth
shot
it.
over a fucking bando.
Nah, dude, no way, no way. So my last question for you is, what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started exploring?
Um. Probably how to like. I don't want to self-incriminate here, but probably how to break into shit. Just because when I first started out, I wasn't doing none of that. Like, I was that guy who would be like, "Oh, it's sealed. I can't get in."
Yeah,
And now I'm just like, I'll find an opening or I'll make one.
there you go. There you go. So
I don't know
it
how people feel about breaking into shit though.
I think everybody's got their own opinions about it or levels to it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I think there's like a line that everybody has that they'll either cross or they
Yeah.
won't cross when it comes to
I
the
ain't out here
this kind of shit.
smashing fucking windows and shit.
Right, right. But if
Like,
you gotta pull a board back, you're gonna
yeah.
fucking pull a board back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yep.
So, if people want to keep following you and your journey, where can they find you online? Drop your social media.
Just on Instagram at Xtralate. That's Xtralate on Instagram.
And I guess one more question: what does that username mean to you? Like, how'd you come up with it?
Well, I'm always late, so
Perfect.
I'm late to everything. That's what my homies say, so I just put extra late.
That's brilliant. I love it, man. Well, thank you for coming on No Tracers, man. It was cool chatting with you.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you too.
All right, y'all. That was my episode with Xtralate. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a rating and feedback on the show to let people know what you think about it. And share it with somebody. Share it with the urbex community friends that you've got. Super stoked to be chatting with a ton of new people coming up in the fall, in the winter months. Very excited for the growth of this show. Thank you guys for listening every single Friday. I appreciate it a ton. If you want to support the show, There's a couple links down in the description to Amazon links to gear that I recommend for urban exploring if you're looking for something new to pick up on your way. And, if you want to come on the show, hit me up, no.tracers on Instagram or contact@notracers.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, go explore something, and remember, leave no trace.